Steve, episode 25 of the Broadway block. We wrapped up the two final preseason games, came out on a strong note, 6-2 win over the Devils, 5-4 win over the Islanders in overtime. We figured out our captain situation, locked up Zibs for 8 years. What did you like most about the Rangers' recent moves? And what are you still looking forward to, Steve?
Well, I actually am a fan of the contract. I think 8.5 over the span of the 8 years gives him the commitment that he needs. And I think he took a little bit of a pay cut because at least it was rumored about 10 million. I figured about 9 we would come in at. And if you look at the way it's structured, it actually goes down over the course of the contract. So we're not stuck paying, $8 million down the road. So Zibanejad locked up for good. Contract will carry him into his mid-30s. So that's that. We're actually really more so excited about the Islanders game because that was more of their A squad, whereas the Devils game was more of their B squad. But what would you like about the most recent news here?
Well, I love the Zibanejad 8 years, 68 million, 8.5. Locked him up to the 2029-30 season. We got him in 2016. He's had 283 points in 323 games. So he's been productive for us. So I really like that contract. Gives us a little wiggle room because we're going to have the Kako contract and the Adam Fox contract coming up. So that should be interesting. I really liked the Devils game. Igor looked like he got back on track a little bit. We mentioned in the previous episode that we were a little worried about Igor's play. I think that was good. I think I was also really happy we put Georgiev back out there with the Islanders again. He was able to stand his own, coming together. The Heedle hat trick in that game, I gotta love that. What are you looking forward to next for the next game? What do you think the lineups are going to be?
Well, hopefully Reeves is healthy and he can make up that Blay, Rooney, Reeves line. Looks like Kravtsov has made it to the AHL for looking like a temporary holding spot until we can maybe find a potential trading partner for Libor Hayek because I really doubt his usage over time. So Dryden Hunt makes the team, it looks like, out of camp. So interesting to see where he slots in, but obviously you got Goudreau to make up some time on the third line. And hopefully Strom's injury isn't too serious. He left that game in the second period, but from the sounds of it, it's not a big deal injury. So hopefully those guys come back and we can actually suit up for opening night.
Yep. I saw they also sent Morgan Barron down to the Wolfpack. Wolfpack's looking pretty good down there. We better, do some work down there for the Wolfpack. But another note, we had talked about the captaincy, and we've had a vacancy for a while. We went again with all A's. The only difference this year is we added Strome and Goudreau, which I think is two important pieces. Obviously, Goudreau being there before, coming to the team, we want to make him feel like he's really part of it. It kind of looked like anybody older than 23 was getting an A on their chest. But
I read that too.
yeah. Strome, I'm actually happy about because Strome, I feel like for the last couple of years, really, he's obviously out of place with us, but we haven't really made him feel like, can he play without Panarin, blah, blah, blah. So I was actually happy to see that we made him an alternate. So other than that, what else you got for us, Steve? Anything good you looking forward to?
I mean, Kako's play was unbelievable, wasn't it? That was
So
I think he
fast
used
now.
them. Yeah, and just using his body, using his strength, using that like one hand on the back end. If you didn't read it, I guess Ryan Spooner did an interview talking about his initial time with David Quinn, talking about the puck never being allowed on his backhand as just a general rule. So for a guy like Kako that like kind of relies on that so much, his entire last play of the game was predicated on just his ability to use that backhand. So and the other secondary assist he got. So it's great to see they're having chemistry. Lafreniere looked kind of like Kako did last year. Like you're seeing little
Mhm,
glimpses
mhm.
of him doing pretty good, but there's some momentary lapses of just maybe thinking about it too much or trying to be too technical. Um, but they're using their body. It was a lot of fun to watch.
Gotta like it. Gotta like the new squad we're going into with, and I think Ryan Reeves. They say he might play, so that could be exciting. Obviously for the opening game. I think this year is really going to be a crucial year. If we could get gelling at the right time, maybe we're not going to be in those 1 or 2 spots in the playoffs, but I definitely think we could squeak in there. I definitely think we can hold our own against the Metropolitan, which is going to be an important task. We definitely need Igor to step up, and we need Grigorgiev to be right there if something happens to Igor. So, also excited to know that obviously we got um, Wall down there, and he could always come up. But we really need to put the right foot forward this year, and I think we got the right pieces. We're definitely tougher. Heedle looked great. That hat trick was really, really good for him. He looked like a little sniper out there. I think we were moving the puck better the last 2 games, so it should be a fun year. I can't wait for Wednesday.
Yeah, it's in a unique position to be oddly in love with all of the players. I feel like they all have their respective spots, and maybe it just looks too good on paper to blink for a second. But
Well,
opening night's right
new
around the
toys are always
corner.
nice.
Yeah, but I'm really digging the early chemistry, and maybe we do sort of crown a captain, but it looks like my thought, if nothing happened, was that maybe on opening night they do something, but opening night isn't a home game, so maybe like the home opener or something like that. If it's not that, then when is it? In the middle of the season when someone shows their worth. I don't know what the intention is behind the six alternates, if I'm honest.
Well, I agree with you, and maybe Drury's thinking something else. Someone's going to really step up and prove themselves, or we're going to be at a point where we need somebody to step up, and that person steps up into that role.
Well, definitely interested to watch. I can't wait for opening night, man. It should be a showdown, and good
How
luck
many
to
how
you,
many
man,
fights? How
in
many
fantasy.
fights?
I don't know. Hopefully the boys keep it casual, and maybe it's just one or two, but I would expect at least one. Yeah,
Kreider looked feisty in the game against Subban. He was all over him, getting
that
at the
was
back.
weird too.
Yeah, it
That
looked like he
felt a
was trying
little
to prove too
unwarranted.
much, right?
It felt like it was intentional of a trip. Like I hate that he's saying it wasn't an intentional trip. I just don't think he was trying to injure him. And yes, he was vocal when the man was down and it looked bad, but it was clearly him kind of dragging his one foot. And you know, I think that Ryan Reeves has a very good memory. I think that Reeves is going to find himself uh, in very close quarters with Subban in the coming months. So
It was weird with Kreider, and then the whole thing with Subban. Like it was just looked like he just was trying to be like someone he's not. Obviously, like an agitator, like a Marchand or a Gallagher. And there was when he got tossed from the game, like he came on the ice during a line change, and no one was moving. Like the puck wasn't even ready to drop, and he just kind of came out chirping, and like everyone was kind of confused what he was trying to do out there, and then and then he was gone.
I know, and I say this as a Ranger fan, but like it was a little bit odd to watch though, because like, all right, no one knew the extent of the injury, right? And
Yeah.
then we like, so I get where everyone's emotions are, where everybody's heads at, but then so he gets chased at, right? So then Kreider drops his gloves. In the NHL, if you drop your gloves and the opponent does not, it's a penalty. You started something that, didn't result in a fight. You didn't fight, so they're not dragging both of you away. You're getting some fucking annoying penalty. So if you manage to maintain your composure and not drop the gloves, kudos for you. You actually get rewarded in the NHL for that. And in this situation, they stayed doing the do-si-do for so long that Subban said something that gave him an unsportsmanlike conduct, which started the 4-on-4. which if in my opinion, that's what started the demise for the Devils. So it must be so difficult if you're Subban. Then you get ran at where, to that like anger aggression point where he didn't even look at the puck. It
Yeah,
was
and
kind of
I was like,
unwarranted.
what
Like
is
it
he
was
doing out there? Like, I was like,
so
wow, he's
that
falling
has to
off.
be yeah, that has to be so frustrating. And then to be losing the game as they were, yeah, that's how that ends up happening. So it was, I guess, good obviously for us, but it it wasn't exactly how I felt like our stand up for our teammate side of situation should
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
It was
it
it was
didn't
a
make me
little
feel any better. Yeah, I agree, 100%. It was just weird. All right, do you want to add anything, or you think that's it for today, Steve?
I honestly, man, I just can't wait to watch the
I know.
opening
I
game,
just want to
man.
wrap it
And
up,
and
keep the day going. Good night, ready to go.
talk to you soon, buddy.
All right, thanks, Steve.